Everybody, welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for May 5th, 2015. Before I look for a motion to approve the agenda, I have a couple announcements. The letter carriers food drive is this Saturday, May 9th, 2015. Do you have anything for that, Gary?
I think they're after this on the agenda.
There you go. It's a good community event that it helps a lot of people, and hopefully everybody will pitch in and give, and we have no problem picking it up. So just put it out by the mailbox or on your porch, and we'll grab it and bring it to Loaves and Fishes, and it's much appreciated.
Great. Annual town meeting is a week from yesterday, May 11th, 2015, upstairs in the Great Hall. I would encourage all voters to attend. Board of Health public hearing. Board of Health will be conducting a public hearing on the new trash hauler regulations for the town of Ayer on Monday, May 18th, 2015 at 6:30 in the first floor meeting room of the Ayer Town Hall. For more information, please contact the Board of Health. And the Joint Boards of Selectmen Super Town meeting will be on Monday, June 8th, 2015 at the Great Hall upstairs again, regarding proposed zoning changes by Mass Development on Devon's. So that's it for announcements. If anybody else has, you guys have anything for announcements or? Okay.
Barry's, is that going to be separate?
What's that?
Barry?
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anybody have any, anything for the agenda or any amendment? No. Robert, you good?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye, the agenda is approved. We're doing it a little bit different tonight, so. First, I'd like to welcome up Mr. DeTillion and this project that's been going on for a little while.
Yeah, back in August, I'm the Veterans Officer for the town of Ayer. Back in August, the Board of Selectmen allowed me to work with the Rolling Thunder and procure the POW MIA chair. And this chair is never not forgotten. Since World War I, more than 91,000 soldiers are unaccounted for. This unoccupied seat is dedicated to the memory of those brave men and women for serving this country, presented by the Veterans Service of the town of Ayer. I've tried for months to get Rolling Thunder in here to dedicate this, and without success. I called them this evening. I told them I'm already on the agenda and I'm dedicating it. So ideally, they want to be, would like to be present for this. So this is never to be used. It's just as a reminder to the POWMIA issue and all the wars, and that's why we had to change the photo. And thank you very much for allowing us to do this.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your work.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Like, can it be moved? Like,
You have to a better spot.
We can move it to a different spot, but I'm running with Robert. It's there because I worked with Robert to put it there. So.
Yeah, it's a good
I
spot.
just curious. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Thank you, Mike. No, it's great.
People, when you stop into the town hall, peek at it.
Yeah, we should promote that a little bit on the site. It's a great thing. Something that we're always excited to do, the recognition of Mr. Keith Kidder for the Eagle Scout. Would you like to come up, sir? You want to come up, Mom and Dad? Well, the Kidder family is are friends of mine, so I'm excited about this. I know you worked very hard at this, and congratulations. It's quite the achievement. Congratulations to you too. You guys must be proud.
very proud.
So,
We did a project up at the high school.
At Page Hilltop, they have like a recess area, and behind the fence that they have, it was sort of like a rundown kind of thing where they would have like classrooms, and there was like a couple broken picnic tables. So basically, I cleaned up the whole area, like got all the leaves and rocks out of there so it's usable. And then we scrubbed out all the picnic tables of like all the dirt and whatnot, and then painted it. And then I ordered signs, and there were like 5 different plants that we planted up there for like butterflies or whatever for the 3rd grade curriculum because I had like metamorphosis. So we did that, and then put in all the posts, total of 13 of them with the trees and plants. And then my grandparents actually came up with this idea for like butterfly houses. I actually never heard of it until then, but so they said,
So grandparents
hey,
are for.
yeah, they said, hey, we'll sponsor 3, so I have that up there.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
And you're also, you volunteer at the camp all summer long too, right?
Yeah, I worked there last year, and then I was a CIT the year before that.
That's great.
And all the signs have braille as well.
Yeah, and they have
Very
braille on
nice.
them too for the blind students. I think there's like 2 of them up there.
Very
One of
nice.
them's my cousin, so yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. We're proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Good on this, and if you could get a picture with our smiling faces, we'd much appreciate it. How do we want to do this?
Awesome.
Jerry, you want to look in? That's it.
We got, oh. No, I know he's got a meeting tonight, so we don't.
Good job.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's the second Eagle Scout we've had. It's kind of shows the community we're in, I guess, because it's becoming, that's a hard thing to do.
Yep. I got the Weebelows.
So that's great.
Isn't much of
So we already did your other things, so we, yeah, well, you're right, we should have put Barry up first, but Barry, please come up, have an announcement on the Historical Commission. Oh, all right, well, I'll give you credit for it anyways.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if you permit me, I have some.
Sure. Nice to see you.
Okay, great. First off, let me thank you for allowing me to be here tonight to announce our event in May. We are part of Freedom's Way, and were invited back in October to join them in a Hidden Treasures Weekend, which ours is going to be May 17th. Coming out of some flyers this week, and it lists all the different towns that are going to be participating in it, so it's not just our own town that's participating in it. Why we chose the Camp Stevens, not a lot of people know about Camp Stevens. In fact, up to 2 years ago, you couldn't even find Camp Stevens because it was buried amidst a bunch of shrubbery.
a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it was. But what also people don't realize is Camp Stevens was here 55 years before Camp Devens. And the two had nothing to do with each other. They weren't even in the same spot. Where it was located, it was across from what is now the Moore Airfield by the David E. Ross property. So the 53rd Massachusetts Regiment came to be because there was an initial call of 300,000 soldiers, and because there was some trouble in the Mississippi, and the Confederacy had blocked the Mississippi for supplies, and the Union soldiers weren't being effective. They called for more than another 300,000, which Massachusetts, at least this community here, answered with another 950 soldiers. And the site that was chosen is almost like a pie-shaped area where David E. Ross and KTR businesses are located now. They were all mustered in by the beginning of October. Actually, before they were mustered in, I'm sorry, the 23 buildings were built in 14 days to house the 950 officers and enlisted men. In fact, the building that's in Ayer was in Groton, but now Ayer was the Ames Plow Shop, and that's since gone. it's really easy to find Mr. Taft's house. He used to live on East Main Street, and when you drive by, there's a step in front of his house that says Benjamin Taft. So if you go by, that's Mr. Taft, who supervised the building at Camp Stevens. As I started to say before, all the companies were filled in. By the end of November, they had done about 6 weeks of their training, hopped on a train, went down to Allen's Point, Connecticut, where it's north of Groton, Connecticut, and actually, if you're familiar with that area, it's where the Dow Chemical Company has that property now. Got on a little steamer from there, went to New York, and then didn't leave there until January 17th. Now, the reason why they didn't leave there until January 17th is because of the cold. They were intense. It was sub-zero weather. They had scarlet fever, diphtheria, all kinds of diseases. So that set them back about 3 or 4 weeks. So that's why they didn't leave until the 18th of January. After the war was over for them, which was in the end of July, July, and then they sat by and they hopped another train to come back to Fitchburg, Mass. 50 years later, the Women's Relief Corps thought it would be appropriate to honor these men that were part of the Camp Stevens. This is the monument as it looked on May 8, 1915. Almost 100 years to the day when we have our event on May 17th. This is what it looked like before the renovation in 2013. As I said, you couldn't even see it unless you really got up to it. We applied for a partial grant from the state, the Sesquicentennial Committee. I guess it's another way of saying 150 years. And we were awarded the grant. And Mr. Pinard drew out the plans, and we had it, as you can see here, had it made. And then we had on November 2nd, we had the rededication, and the gentleman in the middle of that, who looks like General Grant, actually portrays as a reenactor, and his name is Sam Grant, and he goes all over the country portraying Sam Grant, so General Grant. And that's what it looks like today. So I know that that's a busy weekend, and we hope that maybe you save a little bit of time in your day to visit us on Sunday. We have someone from the St. Pond Schoolhouse. They're going to portray what a one-room schoolhouse was like. Eliza Tilton, who was a teacher in 1862, is coming back to teach a class. So we're asking for participation of anybody that brings their little kids, just to see what it was like, see who gets the chore of bringing in the firewood or hauling water. And we're going to have some hardtack, although we're not going to leave it out. We'll allow you to try it, but this is what the hardtack actually looks like. But we're going to make it much smaller, and so it doesn't break your teeth. So.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
But that's what we're doing this weekend. I know there's a powwow, there's something going on this week. Downtown, there's a race as well, but we hope that you spend a little time and come see us. We're going to be putting these out. I don't have enough to go around, but actually I have this I can pass out. If you want to make copies, you can have that. You can have that, and I have a brochure. And this is a brochure that shows everything. All that will be passing up, but you can hang on to that. So on the 17th, come on down, learn a little bit of history about this area. You may find the name of someone, of a long-lost relative, because the towns that were represented, there were 46, 47 towns, all the way from Boston to Royalston, Mass. So, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on this too, please. Thanks. All right. So these are for announcements, right? Yeah. I didn't get, you're right, Gary, sorry.
Right again.
Right again.
Only FTA.
You know what happened to him in his fourth term?
Thanks. Yeah. I always want to pull you.
Anybody here for public input? Oh, 3 in a row.
From what?
Public input. You're not a resident anyway, so.
Not yet.
All right, is David joining us this evening?
Mr. Chairman, through you to the board, David is out today, sick. But if there isn't any objection through you to the board, I know that Mr. DeChico and Mr. Barry are here. If they'd come up to the table through you, Mr. Chair.
Sure,
The open,
please.
and they're going to talk a little bit about the open air spring festival that they have planned for May. And just to add, what I'd be looking for respectfully from the board at the end of the presentation is approval, authorization for 3 one-day liquor licenses for this event, contingent upon approval of the plan from the chiefs, because the board will not be convening until after the event. So it's sort of a procedural request at the end. But I think these gentlemen know more about the event than I do, so.
Well, good evening,
Floor is
everyone.
yours. Nice to see you.
We are obviously asking for the appropriate permitting, but we also want to talk a little bit about the event. We had a similar event last fall that was very enjoyable, and we have increased it, especially on Saturday. It's far more activities for kids. We've added more entertainment, and we're hoping to grow this event to be a 3 or 4 times a year event. And we're looking for the board's support.
Yeah, if I remember, you had really good reviews last year. I think the weather kind of hampered it a little bit
Yes,
too. didn't it?
unfortunately, it rained on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
It's raining and pouring out, and they still came.
Yeah.
So people are still out there having a good time, so.
Well, you piqued their interest on Friday, I guess, to come back. And
Right, right,
It
with
was-
all this
it was
stuff
cold,
happening
too, yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
It was real cold.
Yeah.
people really enjoyed it. Something I didn't realize until recently is you guys got to pay for police details? Like
We did.
$1,000?
Almost, yeah.
Isn't it like a town event?
Well, not really.
No?
Well,
I-
well,
Well, not officially.
not officially.
The first one was, I followed the chief's reasoning. The first one was really the 3 of us, but this one we've spread out quite a bit and welcomed other businesses. And we're also offering, through the Chamber of Commerce, we have done raffle tables
Okay.
to try and raise monies for Loaves and Fishes.
Yeah.
Last time we tried a can drive, and it was not well received. And
Okay.
we feel that by raffling baskets, we can raise money for this cause and do
Mhm.
much better.
So it's the same thing, the chief's looking at blocking off outside businesses, especially down toward Marcos,
Just
where
the one,
West
the
Street
one
is.
street that we'd walk off, and
Is
it
it West
doesn't,
or Pleasant?
Pleasant Street.
Pleasant.
Yeah.
Pleasant Street. Yeah, we've got some old car clubs coming,
Okay.
different stuff that,
Bands, same things like
Same
that.
as
Yeah,
last year.
last
Yeah.
time we put, I bought some barriers, and we put them at the top of the street and the bottom of the
Mhm.
street. And it seemed to work out pretty well.
yeah, they were happy with the whole thing. They were,
I don't think we had any negative feedback.
No,
No,
no, I
we
was just
didn't
reading the
at all.
emails from Mark and from the chiefs, and they all were, seemed to be okay with everything, as long as you guys.
So it's 2 nights?
3.
Oh,
3
oh,
days,
Sunday.
3 one-day passes, yeah.
15th, 16th, and 17th.
Correct.
Is there stuff during the day, or is it mostly
There
at
is.
night?
there is. Now, Friday night, we start out later because we start after the traffic.
Sure.
Okay.
And then, everybody's out working. And then Saturday, I believe it starts at 2
Yes.
o'clock, and it goes on. And then on Sunday, we start at, I can't remember the times, I had them in my head.
Around 11.
Yeah, somewhere around 11, and it goes to like 8 or 9 o'clock or something like that.
So the liquor licenses you want for the whole day, from a certain time?
However they do that, do we have to specify the times for that? Is that how that
Time or
works?
is it the day? I mean,
I think it's probably both.
Yeah, it would, through you,
Yeah,
Mr.
sure,
Chair, just, it
please.
would be, you'd be authorizing 3
One day?
one-day licenses for Friday, May 17th, from 5 PM to 12 AM, Saturday, May 16th, from 2 PM to 12 AM, and then the Sunday, the 17th, from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m.
Contingent on the chiefs.
Contingent on the police chief's sign-off and the ABCC regulations.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye, so you have your license, and we wish you well.
Great, thank you.
I wish we could do more, yeah.
And Cindy, we can
Come.
we can put this out on the town Facebook page too,
Wait,
right? Yeah, so we'll
I came
promote it on
Friday.
our town Facebook page.
The only,
For
the
you.
only thing I might want to mention is, there's something else happening Saturday downtown that we weren't made aware of, and they start earlier. And we're trying to get it to cross over because they're trying, some kind of a fundraiser or something like that, and so,
It's a race?
is that what it is? I can't remember what it was.
It's
That's-
the town
yes.
purple group.
It-
They're raising money.
Okay.
Yes.
And so
Oh,
what we
yes,
want to do is,
that's
I want to make it available because they use the whole front of Lucia's and Marco's and all of that.
Right.
And I'd like to try and drag some of that in there and try and get some interest going and bring people in for that. So if it's possible to maybe start earlier for us on that Saturday, I mean, if it's okay with you guys, that's all I'm saying, just so that we can provide something else that's going on to try and work with them. If we had known it ahead of time, but you know, the people at the bank have been asking me, what can we do? And it's like, what time do we have to move? It's like, stay there.
Right.
So they're actually going to ask their people to stay on later into the afternoon. I don't
Okay.
know if that's something that they have to talk to you about. I don't think so, but.
Do we need to modify our motion to be able to account for that if he's able to arrange that?
I might just start possibly an hour early or something like that,
Or as
so
long
that
as
we
the
can be
alcohol's
out
not
there.
involved,
On the
I wouldn't think
Saturday?
so,
Yeah.
that hour.
On that Saturday, yeah. I'm not,
Yeah,
I don't think we'll be serving anything or anything like that. I'm just saying,
No,
that makes-
I
like,
don't
to give
think-
you guys a heads up, that's all. That we're trying to incorporate it so that it can work for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think it sounds like a great idea, so I just.
Well, and the ABCC is going to vet this anyways too,
Right.
right? So
Yeah,
leave it up to them, but I have no issues with it starting
I
an
have
hour
no
early.
issues, yeah.
Okay.
Wish you luck.
Thank you very much for
See
your
you there.
support.
Thank you. All right. See you. All right. You got that one? So far, so good. Sorry. 7:30, we're a little early, but Mr. Keyser, are you, nice to meet you, sir.
Good evening.
Senior Vice President of Mass Development.
Yes,
How are you?
good. Good to see you again.
Congratulations. on the new
Thank
position.
you. I just completed my second month. I still have the key code to the door, so I think I'm
That's
doing
good.
okay
That's good.
for them.
We took Gary's away like years ago.
Yeah.
but he's
We
getting
still
that.
keep coming back, so.
But so thank you for coming. I mean, we kind of wanted to get to know you, and
Yes.
it took about 8 years to get the previous member of your position here. So it's nice to see you here so quick. Robert, do you have anything to add? I know you've met with.
Yeah, I just, if I could, welcome Thatcher to the Ayer Town Hall. This is his first visit here inside the building. At the request of the board, I invited him to come tonight, sort of as a more informal sort of introduction and to talk about some of the things up at Devon's and some of his ideas and vision. And we did meet back in March, at the end of March, when he had first started. And I discussed some of the things that were important to this board and to this town with respect to the relationship with Mass Development. One being that we have a mutual veterans service contract that has worked very well. Our participation in the Household Hazardous Waste Collaborative. This board's efforts and ongoing efforts with respect to some potential rate relief with respect to the sewer contract. We talked about to some extent, and I'm sure, I know members, they'll probably come up again tonight and looking at that. And sort of, we've also participated recently in an event sponsored by the United States Army up at Devon's, the Fort Devon's piece about how the Army working with Mass Development and the surrounding communities on projects. So just to go to give sort of a little introduction, and I'm sure Thatcher can tell you a little bit of his resume. He was a former mayor of Amesbury and also worked with the Mass Municipal Association for years, and I'm going to forget some of the other things, but he comes with a lot of experience
Yes, yeah. I know.
to
I
the
read his-
region.
read his
So
resume.
again, welcome on behalf of the town.
Yes, welcome. Please elaborate, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Well, one, it's a pleasure to be here and come in. I've driven by this building numerous times and looked up the history of it. It's very interesting. So, as Robert has said, I come from a long background in local government work, both at the state level, regional level, local level. I was 8 years the mayor of Amesbury. Going back many years before that, I spent 3 years as chair of the finance committee in Salisbury. So I've done the battles at the small town, local level, a lot of long town meetings in the heat of the summer. Have done all that. Worked for the Mass Municipal Association. Actually, my first position at the Mass Municipal Association was working with all the town administrators and town managers across the state as part of their association for their professional development and such, and then did the legislative duties where I represented local government up at the State House, fighting the battles for local aid and unfunded mandates or against unfunded mandates and those type of battles that you all talk about. So I think I've done the whole gamut, local government. I would say if there's a reoccurring theme in everything that I've done in many of those roles, it's about building regional collaborations. I've said it many times. It's my experience, the 25 years or so that I've been working with local government. There is no municipality that I can think of, maybe Cambridge, that can survive on its own by itself as an island upon itself. Financially, the structural issues. And so I've always worked to build collaborations, build the communication between various groups of municipalities, and really work hard to share resources, do some new innovative things in order for everyone to survive, the challenges that we all face. And so I look forward to the task, working for Mass Development here in Devens, taking on those duties and working with all of you going forward.
Well, Gary can speak to it as being the JBoss representative.
That was at last meeting.
Yeah, great. It's obviously a unique situation that we have here, probably none other.
It is
around.
different,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
It's frustrating too at times.
very frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, as you probably have heard, the dialogue hasn't always been the way it should, at least, and I think I can speak for my colleagues here.
Yeah.
Between Devens and us. So we're hoping to open that up, as I called it, the Cold War, back when we met before, and ease those tensions so we can work together, because obviously we're a big part up there, and
Yes.
you are to our community too. So
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here that benefit from what's up there and
Mhm.
what's been built up there, and we want to keep that going, of course. But we also have our own interests, such as the hospital issue with the psychiatric, which kind of concerns me. If that psychiatric center is an overnight facility, it'd be in direct competition with our largest employer. So these are things that I hope Sal Pearl has been involved in some of the discussions.
Yeah, we've had folks at Mass Development have had lots of discussions with him, working those issues out. Part of it, part of the effort is to sort of clarify the issues so that in those areas where I know there is a concern about competition, and based on everything I've heard of, with our folks and working with Sal, to make it where it's not a competition, that really it's complement too, that it, that facility specializes in a very specific area of medical care, and it's not necessarily what the hospital, but yet they complement each other. And I think that the same situation is true in many of the issues that we deal with, be it just economic development, business development, infrastructure, all those things. What I'm hoping to, based on everything I've heard since I've been in the position, and I've heard, prior to getting this position, and I've seen it in other areas where the conversation focuses around the sort of a zero-sum game, where if one community's gaining something, it must mean the others are losing it. And what I'm hoping to do is change the conversation to be, no, it's growing the pie. It's that any growth or development in one part of the region is ultimately a benefit to the rest of the region. You know, in the medical field, as an example, when you add additional medical facilities in an area, it builds a cluster industry that attracts more of that industry, and it attracts more of the business for that industry into that area. And then the industry sorts out, you know, what areas they're going to specialize in and do. So ultimately, in those things, it grows the pie, and everyone sees the benefit rather than, you know, one's winning and one's losing. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
hoping we can
We
go in
want
that
our piece of
direction.
the pie. Definitely.
Right, and the way you get the piece of the pie, and we get the piece of pie, and Shirley and Harvard and everyone is we grow the pie. We make the pie bigger.
I think the thing that disturbs me more than anything, Thatcher, and none of this is your fault, you know, you're
Not
coming-
yet.
No, you're coming into it. But, you know, the thing, I'll just give you an example of the psychiatric unit. That kind of just was thrown out there. Nobody approached this town, any of the other towns that are involved, and said, listen, this is what we're looking at. And I understand you don't need our blessing, and I understand if you want to put an addition on Bristol Mass Squibb, it goes through the deck and it gets done. But a little forward information would be helpful. Something like the psychiatric, I won't call it a hospital, whatever it is. Even the transportation collaborative that's up there with transporting workers to Littleton, where we have a station in Ayer. I mean, and we hear through just the grapevine that I happened to get an email from Kathy saying that this was, and your name was on it, I think.
Yeah,
But-
we facilitated that. Yeah.
So stuff like that, I mean, even if, you know, you call Rob and said, listen, we're thinking of doing this, you know, can we throw it off here? Or doing it the other way, just, it seems like an elitist attitude that it's you guys against us. That's what it appears. We don't want that either.
Not at all.
We want a collaborative.
No, I agree. And, you know, the big part of that is the communication piece. And
Right,
that's
absolutely.
why one of the first things I did coming in was reach out to the town administrators.
No, it's great. Yeah.
And have that, and again, to, you know, help hopefully clarify these issues. Because I know on the shuttle, and again, I walked in, that's a project ongoing. The effort there is, it's part of a larger effort of building up a reverse commute transportation system so that we can attract folks from the Cambridge, Boston area to commute from the hub of Boston to here for work. Currently, the trains that actually meet the commute schedule only go to Littleton. And so the effort, as I did some background on this issue, was doing the analysis to see if we can support a shuttle service from Littleton to the region, get that established, because one is getting people to be aware of that option and changing habits of getting out of your car and actually using that service. When that builds up the demand, that creates the data to support getting the MBTA to move their final stop at those commute timeframes, to move them to Ayer and Shirley, and then bring them in. So it's not an effort to ignore Ayer. It's an effort to legitimize the demand as far as the MBTA is willing to go today in order to fight the battle to get them to move further up the line. So it's an ongoing effort, but I you know, I get the
I mean,
part
that
that
would be great to
it's the
some-
communicating
we
of
heard
that
that
part.
earlier.
You
Yeah.
explained more right now than
Yep.
we knew.
Yep.
Knew all
Well,
along.
now it makes sense.
Yeah, and we understand our station
Still
is
don't like
not,
it.
No, I
our
don't
station is
mean
not,
to
and
say I
our
don't
parking's
like it,
not
but
there
it makes
yet.
sense now.
And it will be,
Right.
but it was frustrating to hear, and I know this didn't come from you, that we were notified and all that stuff, and that was somewhat frustrating.
Yeah, and so there is a working group, and I'm learning these issues as I run into them. There is a transportation working group. Somebody from Ayer is an appointee. I'm not sure who. I intend to join in on those meetings, and gather my knowledge on the effort on that, and then also be, with the administrators in the area, we're already talking about, meeting and meeting on a regular basis, and I think create that communication network that's in place on an ongoing basis so that when these issues come up, if one of you raise a question with Robert and we get together, we're becoming aware of it, and it creates that communication loop. So.
Sure, no, and is that your plan? I know George had said you met monthly, but I don't think you...
Well, I used to meet just with George once a month in his office, but what Thatcher has proposed is that Harvard, Shirley, and Ayer, the three town administrators, and he will meet. We have to figure it out if it's going to be monthly, but we have a regular set schedule that will meet and discuss the issues of mutual interest. And I think that will be, I think we feel will be more helpful, because if you take like the transit issue that everybody just brought up, I know Shirley had very similar feelings to Ayer. I was out at Mart earlier today, and as you and I have discussed, the history and present and future of Ayer have all been built up around the railroad, and the commuter rail station and the improvements to that, as we discussed, the town takes very seriously and very important. And
The double tracks going into. So
yeah. And I know that's the case in Shirley, and there are other issues, I'm sure, at Harvard as well. So.
Well, we've had other issues too, and this is way before you, with the school contract not necessarily being offered back or thrown out there that it was up for bid. The state police contract changed as soon as we offered interest. They changed the whole parameters on us, and the state police got it. Not that I have an issue with the state police being up there, but just want it to be
like a level
playing field. Yes.
And I would say this, we all have our sort of business dealings that we have to do, and services be bid out and people will compete. What I've always said in my dealings, my 8 years as mayor, is let's very efficiently get to an answer of yes or no, and be able to justify yes or no. So even when there's a business transaction and for whatever reason say we can't do it, we can't do this, but there's a rational reason for doing it, and so everybody understands and knows that, and then continue to work on other matters where there can be that meeting of the mind. So I'm happy to press on like I've done for 20 some odd years of building collaborations, building coalitions, and these coalitions that I built have created results. I mean, I'll point out one. In 2001, I started the Metro Mayors Coalition, which was getting all the mayors of the Metro Boston region working together in a room, sitting around a table like this, and working on the major public policy issues. One of the issues we created it 2 weeks later, 9/11 hit. So one of the first agenda items I had was getting all of the fire, police, and emergency management leaders in one room at one time and start coordinating that effort. But the other one that had an impact on municipal government that's where we started the fight to change Chapter 32B on the health law that gave municipalities more power of their health plans.
Finally.
Yeah, and I started that in 2001 and benefited greatly, and I fought the battle as mayor and testified for it, and we got it. And
it took 10 years. That wasn't bad.
Yeah, I know. I hope to be quicker on some other things, but in Amesbury we saved $880,000 a year on our health plans.
Yeah,
and that was through the effort of creating the Mayor's Coalition and having that as a political force. So I would say here, in what form or fashion, that we build the coalition that also becomes a strong political voice for the region to bring in the resources that we all need.
Absolutely.
No,
that's all we want.
No, absolutely.
Sounds good.
Is open dialogue. And Gary, you can speak to this better than Janice and I, because you've been here longer, but I don't think there was any dialogue for a long time.
What do you mean by that?
On the board.
Really long.
No, the dialogue it's pretty much the tail wagging the dog. And if you read the 498, there's specifics in there that have never been adhered to, and I don't think anybody in the surrounding towns has really pushed it. We've had individuals in town, no, he's not here anymore, he was here a minute ago. But
I've met with him too, yes.
But I mean,
No,
you
it was
know,
we had a great discussion.
I
Yeah.
think for what, I think myself, what's been developed up there, it's great. The fact that Bristol Mass Group's up there, and it helps that you have the resources available up there to entice companies to come in and build a region. And we want that as much as,
Yes.
as a businessman.
No, absolutely.
You have opportunities to have more up there.
I agree. I think our restaurant, our downtown's benefited from the.
We deliver
up there.
more meal up there, it's,
Yeah, no, we're part of our business is creating jobs here in the region.
and I have no problem with that. I mean, but
I-
the communication has
Yeah.
been lacking,
Yep, well.
big
you're right.
time.
It's changed.
Okay.
Good, good.
Did you win the hockey game?
The one in Canada?
Yeah.
We lost the score 7-5, but it was a moral victory.
7-5. Wow.
I
No
played,
defense.
I only let in 2 goals. I played the second half,
Oh,
and we were
okay.
making a comeback.
Oh, you're a goalie. I was a goalie in high school. Just to touch on it quickly,
Yep.
and I don't want to throw it at you, but I did want you to take a look at it. We had asked Mr. Ramirez last year to look into the wastewater contract.
Yep.
I'm sure you're probably familiar
Yep.
with it now. It's not exactly a fantastic contract for us. It's not, how would we say, it's not, they're not doing anything wrong. I don't mean it that way.
Yeah.
Devon's in whole, but it's really not a good contract. Mr. Wetzel had proposed some ideas that were very good ones to possibly offset that by doing some other things.
Yeah.
And if Mark wants to add to it, I don't think that ever really worked out, did it, Mark?
It wasn't cost beneficial for us. It was what we were looking at.
The sludge?
Taking our sludge.
Yeah.
It was actually more expensive than we did.
Yeah.
I have the original letter. I would ask you just to take a look at it.
Yeah,
Okay, so you do
I've
have.
obtained that, yep.
Okay, and maybe we can sit down and have some ideas that might help
Yeah.
us as a community, because it's really driven up our sewer rates, having this contract, which is really not a good contract for the town.
Yeah,
And there was some strange things on Mass Development's part in terms of, they said they approached our former DPW director to get out of the contract, but didn't come to us, and it was
it's
some.
my
it was some
understanding
odd-
there was
yeah.
some,
Yeah.
We've all been on both sides of
Oh,
this
absolutely,
table.
absolutely. We had
yeah.
a very good meeting here last, I think it
Yeah.
was May, June, somewhere around this time of year.
Yeah.
And, we went back and forth, but it never really got any farther than that. So, I mean, you might say the same thing, but I would ask that you,
Yeah, we're doing, becoming aware of the issue. I already have the folks looking at some options, some scenarios.
Okay. or maybe
Trying
we
to-
can work together somehow in
Yep.
another way to help ease the
Yep.
costs for both of us. I don't know, and Mark can obviously speak better to that, but we'd appreciate it if you would take a look at that and
Yep.
and get back to us, and maybe we can discuss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you would, we would greatly appreciate that. I
Happy to
do
do
like
so.
your attitude. I appreciate you coming too, I
Yeah.
really do. We tried to get other people here for a long time, so we like to
Yep,
talk.
don't mind at
Do you
all.
have any questions, Janice? Robert?
I have a good vibe.
Yeah, no,
Good.
absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, through you and the board, if Thatcher, if you wanted to just talk about sort of the status of June 8th, the super town meeting, or maybe
Yes,
talk a little
yes.
bit, if that's all right. too.
No, absolutely.
Just briefly,
Yes.
where we're at with that.
So Ed Starzak is sort of the lead person handling that. He was hoping to be here tonight to present the legal language. We've all been working with sort of the plain language to get everybody to understand what the proposals are. He was going to show up with the legal language necessary. He informed me this afternoon it's still under our legal review. They're still working it, so he intends to deliver it probably next week. The expectation is to deliver it, to give you a week in advance of when you need to act on it, to review the language, but it's still there. So it's not been presented yet, but presumably scheduled for June 8th. 3 communities. and going through the four proposals. And again, I know there's already been a lot of discussion with particulars of each. And again, I'm walking into the issues, they were already in play when I came in. But I see this as another example where, you know, a lot of the development that's going to result by the changes is in the Shirley corner of this. I look at it as an opportunity from a region perspective of, you know, all of us working to help Shirley. In the future, it'll be, you know, an Ayer issue or a Harvard issue. And I hope and expect that, you know, it's a collaboration with the others to say, okay, you benefit, we all benefit from that effort.
You've never been to a super town meeting, have
Just the whole concept of a super town meeting was
No, it's
new to me when I walked
you?
into
Very
this.
interesting.
Yeah. I don't know the wisdom of.
Wear a helmet.
We're trying to possibly change that.
Yeah. Another question, this is more just, along both Fitchburg Road and heading out past the Verbic Gate to Shirley, there's a lot of old buildings in the Devon's footprint that are kind of dilapidated, falling down.
Yeah.
Which kind of are aesthetically not really noticeable at Devon's, but from us in town.
Yeah.
Is that anything that can be looked at? I know there's one towards the airport up on the left, and then I think when you go down this way, there's a house right before Grant Road. There's a couple buildings right there, and an old fence that's been torn and damaged and from trees and.
Right near the field.
Yeah, right near the field. It's kind of an eyesore. Is that anything that you could possibly look into, or
Yeah,
at least
I mean,
clean
this
it up?
is-
Or and like I said, there's one, especially if anybody knows what I'm talking about, right before the airport on the left. There's that big white building. All the siding's falling off. And it's kind of an eyesore for us. Obviously, it's not our. You know.
Right. No, let me look into it.
No,
I go around and learn the geography and in the visual sites and all that, but I'll take a look for that. But you know, unless there's some historic preservation issue or something.
Yeah, they just. I don't even think they're that old buildings. I think they were storage facilities, or I'm not really sure.
Okay. And then what I have to figure out is, you know, is it mass development owned property or is it private property? And then it's engaging the private landowner.
Yep.
I used to fight this battle as a mayor of, we don't own it, and people would get really upset if we stepped in and did something because it's.
We've been there many times.
Yeah. So, but that doesn't mean we can't engage. So let me scout it out.
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great, and at least give us an answer that's not ours or something we could look into, or we don't, you know, we're going to allocate some funds to remove for cleanup later on, or that'd be great.
All right, and if make sure I've got my bearings correct on the spots.
Robert can follow up tomorrow with an email,
Yep.
and that would be fantastic. And then maybe we can see you in a few months or whatever, if you don't mind.
No, don't mind
hanging
at all.
out late and coming to see us.
I'm used to being out almost every night.
Yeah, it's busy up there.
Only being out a couple nights a week is a pleasure for me.
Okay.
You guys have any more questions?
No.
Well, Thatcher, it was a pleasure meeting you, and
Pleasure also.
thank you. We really appreciate you coming down,
All right.
and hope to see you soon.
Look forward to working with you all.
All right, thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Take care.
Congratulations on the position.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
We have Mark, Superintendent Wetzel, up for the Department of Public Works. You got a slideshow tonight? Hi, Mark.
Thank you. If I could have a couple minutes before we get to the agenda items, I just wanted to bring up that, I don't know if you noticed on the town announcements, this is National Drinking Water Week.
Yes.
And I just wanted to recognize our drinking water staff in the town of Ayer. We have Rick Lindy, who's the foreman. I think he's been working for the town since he was about 19 years old.
Yeah, forever. Yeah.
Greg Cormier, who's our assistant foreman. Brian Boomgarden, who's the water operator, and Scott Schwinger is the distribution meter technician. These guys do a great job. I put on the website all the different things they do, and when you look at it, you go, "Holy cow!" They've got a lot to do, and they've got a lot of responsibility because they need to make sure that every drop of water that's going into the system is safe to drink.
They do it well.
They do.
They do it.
And you know, and you don't think about this, like in the winter, they're plowing roads, so they're out for all night plowing, and then they gotta go in and make the water the next day. So these guys, that's, you know, the one time during the year we really try to recognize what a great dedicated job they do. And one of the other things I should point out is they all have to have state-approved licenses, and they get renewed every 2 years, and they have to take continuing education. So in addition to doing their day-to-day jobs, they're taking courses, and I think they need about 15 hours a year to keep their license. So it's quite a demanding job, and so if you see the blue trucks around, honk your horn and wave to them, and they're really a great addition to the community.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize, they're on call too, so I mean,
Right.
they pass my house, I see them a lot. It could be 11, 10, 12 at night, you see them coming down there because an alarm went off, and so they're constantly out.
And if there's a leak, we were fixing one this year on the coldest day of the year.
Yep.
And usually
Which
they don't
day
like,
was that?
usually they don't like to be in the ditch, but they wanted to be in the ditch because they were out of the wind.
Yep. So yeah, their work is much appreciated, and I think
It's
we all
nice
try
to have
tell them
Brian
that.
back, too.
Nice to have Brian back as well. Yes, absolutely.
So I put in your packet a memo that I prepared for the board and the Energy Committee. We looked into, the selectmen had brought this up in the Energy Committee about looking at purchasing the streetlights. Right now, other than the decorative lights on Main Street, which the town owns, and some other lights, a couple in the DPW yard, some down at Peroni Park and the beach. The majority of the lights, there's about 511, I think, in the last inventory that I saw, that National Grid owns and basically rents to us. And they don't have electric meters, so we pay based on a schedule, depending on the type of light. And so the objective of the study was to evaluate, evaluate the potential energy and cost savings associated with purchasing the lights from National Grid and converting them to LED fixtures. And then I just have a little outline of what I included in the technical memorandum. I'll tell you one thing, I learned a heck of a lot about streetlights, and and I'm still not an expert.
Sorry.
So just right now, as I mentioned, based on the inventory that National Grid gave me, there's 511 streetlights. There's probably a few more than that since then, because we've accepted some streets that have some lights and things. But and then there's, as I mentioned, the lights that the town does own and maintain, which are on Main Street and West Main Street and a couple other places around town. Our budget, which includes all of the streetlights in town, is $76,400. One thing that does factor into it, we have in FY14, I totaled up the net metering credits, and that totaled about almost $16,000 that we put towards the streetlight account. We can shuffle those around. Twice a year we get the opportunity to say, well, we don't need that much on streetlights, so we'll put a little more at the water plant or at town hall, wherever. So the town accountant's constantly looking at how many credits we have and adjust it. But and when I did the analysis, I didn't factor that in because we're going to use those credits somewhere, whether it's with the lights or not. So how do they bill us? They're not metered. So basically, on our electric bill for the streetlights, we have three charges. One is a facility charge, which is basically the rental charge, and that varies depending on the type of light and the number of watts. And then we pay a kilowatt use charge, which is the electricity that we use based on, they have a what they call a tariff schedule, and I'll refer to that. S1 is the tariff schedule for National Grid-owned lights. So each type of light that we have, we pay a different rate on, and it varies during the year. So obviously you use more electricity in the winter than you do in the summer. And then we also have a delivery charge. So what they, you see those add-ons on your bill. So you use this many kilowatts, then you pay for your distribution charge, your mass save charge, your all those little add-ons. And it doesn't amount to a bunch, but it's, that's also based on the kilowatt hours. One of the reasons why we looked at this is National Grid doesn't have a tariff if they own the lights and convert them to LED. So there's no incentive for them to convert them to LEDs. Just a couple things about LED streetlights. I don't think we have any of the, we have our decorative lights out here which have been converted, some better than others.
The newer ones that you.
Yeah, and one of the things that we'll do as part of this, if this moves forward, is we'll take a look at the lights and where they are, and do we need to put in a more powerful street light in certain neighborhoods. But
Some can be spread out, not to interrupt, but I mean, you go from Central Ave, there must be 400 from here, and then halfway down Westford Road, there's none until the Groton line, and then from the Verbeck Gate to Shirley, there's not a single street light. Right after the Devon's, yeah.
One of the things from my personal experience in my town, the 3 streetlights up from my house, one of the lights burned out. So I called the light company and said, can you change that? And they put in an LED light, and it's the only one they have in town so far. And it's amazing how much different it is.
Absolutely.
It's not only brighter, but it's a nicer light.
Yeah.
You don't notice it. It's
I
more
agree.
focused on the road. And then there's a lot of other options. These things, you know, they're getting smarter, and I don't know whether we really need to have a lot of controls on them, but we can put controls on these so that we can turn them on and off. We could set the schedule. I think you could even buy them so you could adjust the brightness on them to a certain extent. This adds cost. It's not insignificant, but you can also put things in. You can use them as a communication network, and tie in a whole bunch of other smart functions, which again isn't really that necessary for a community the size of Ayer. But if you're in a city where you have a lot of traffic issues, you could tie in traffic cameras and things like that. So, and those are things you can add on if you do need to do that or do want to do that. So I did an example just to show you how much cost savings you'd have with the different tariffs. So I looked at the 50 watt high pressure sodium, which is what we have the majority of in town. And so you can see with the National Grid tariff, which is the top one, our total annual charges are about $100 a light. If we, just with us buying it, we don't pay the facility charge anymore. We do assume the maintenance charge, and we do assume, and the delivery charge goes up a little bit, and I'm not quite sure why, but it does. And so your total annual charges are about $65 a year for that same light, just with us owning it. And then if we did convert to LED, you'd see it's under $30.
And they last a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the maintenance cost goes from $18 a light to $9 a light.
Wow.
75.
So I looked at some different options to come up with how much it would cost the town and how much we would save. So the first one, you can see our current costs is about $61,000 a year for the lights. And that's, again, that doesn't include any of the net metering savings that we do have. Because if you look at my budget, you'll go, oh, he didn't spend $61,000. Well, it's because I saved $14,000 with net metering. If we just purchase it and don't upgrade, don't change anything, it's about $43,000, so there's about an $18,000 savings. If we did purchase them and do the LED upgrade, and we did it as a capital borrow for the town, and I assumed the LED upgrade would be about $175,000, we'd save about $21,000 a year. And if we got a grant for the $175,000, we'd save about $33,000 a year. And we are eligible for a green community grant that would probably cover the majority of that. One of the other things that I did want to mention is, let me back up one. We would also get a one-time rebate for every kilowatt hour saved. We'd get about a 25-cent rebate for converting to LED. So you can see that, I didn't calculate how much that is, but it's, you can see it, you're saving about 100,000 kilowatt hours. So someone in the audience can do the math. It's not calculating for me, but-
Everybody's grabbing their calculator.
So anyways, we talked about this at the Energy Committee meeting, and so with approval from the board, if we want to keep moving forward to this, and there's a few things that Robert may be able to fill you in on, with what legal things we may need to do this. But we got a preliminary number from National Grid to buy them. It was $7,800. Yeah, I can pay that out of my budget right now.
I thought you meant 78,000.
No, because what happens is they depreciate their lights. They're an investor-owned utility. So they put up a street light, and it might cost them, $1,000, but they depreciate that over a certain number of years. So the lights really don't have much value to them.
Mike, do you know if they, sorry.
No, go on.
Do you know if are they all capable of being changed to LEDs? Or do they need some kind of modification, do you know?
There may be some that do. That was, if you see up there somewhere, did I put that up there? We need to, maybe I didn't put it, yeah, review purchase price and perform inventory review. So then we would look at each light. We may not, we talked about this because looking at 500 lights could take a little bit of time. So what we were thinking, we would start with some representative areas and see if we're finding that they're fairly consistent. But there may be some things that we need to do to upgrade the poles or the fixtures or things like that. But basically, you'd go out to bid and you'd have a contractor go in and put in the lights.
Right.
And there's a number of ways also. You can buy the lights off the state bid and just hire a contractor to install them, or you can do a furnish and install. I don't think the town of Ayer wants to get into trying to install them themselves. And then there's some other technical issues with National Grid, like you have to have a certified electrician do it, or they're going to charge you a certain amount per light to turn the power off and turn it back on.
They'll show up sometime in 2008.
So I think that the next step is, once we know what we need for money, when we can get the money, then we notify National Grid of intent to purchase, and then there's a 60-day window that you negotiate that with, and then we would apply for Green Communities Grant, which is, I think we're about a year. They just did it last month. So we've got a whole nother year before we're eligible for that, unless they have some other grant program. But, and then we would also have to get a maintenance contract.
So if you don't go through Green Communities, we could actually have it on the fall town meeting?
Yeah.
Thinking the same thing.
Awesome. If it was your dick.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the board, just to fill in just final points on this. The Energy Committee met on April 30th and voted unanimously to recommend that the Board of Selectmen take a vote to authorize the town to proceed with, as the fourth bullet says, notify National Grid of the intent to purchase. So respectfully tonight, the board, if you're willing, would authorize the town, authorize us to proceed with notifying National Grid. And then as Mark mentioned, the process of reviewing the purchase price and the inventory, the Green Communities Grant, all of those things we can begin. And I think Mark makes a good point. I mean, just as far as expectations of the board, the process will be underway. It does take some time, but the goal is for the fall town meeting would be to prepare an article for your consideration to put on the warrant for town meeting to consider as far as the funding or any funding that would be needed for the street lights. And we would, as we said at the Energy Committee meeting, we will continue to meet monthly on this and provide updates. We can, through Mark and I, provide updates to the board as to where we are on this.
I don't see this as a bar.
And, you know, one thing I should point out is that, you know, you can do the LED upgrade. It doesn't have to be done the day you buy it. And I have enough money in the FY16 streetlight budget, as I showed. Even if we don't upgrade, we'll save significant money. I have enough money to buy the lights.
Right.
And to go to do a maintenance contract. So we don't really need to appropriate any more money just to go through the purchase.
Okay.
And let's say, Gary brought this up before, Central Ave has one on every pole. With the LED being so much brighter, is it possible to maybe move, you know, a light to another area of town that doesn't have as many, or?
Yeah, that's the next thing on my learning list, is to understand how the LED lighting works, because we may want to say where we have some 70 watts, we only need 50, but where we have some 50, we may, and when I say 70 watts, it's not equivalent.
Yep.
But we may need brighter lights in certain areas and dimmer lights in others, or we may have some that we don't really need. And so we can, it'll take some time to go through that process.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's a whole science on
I'm sure
picking
there is.
LED lights. So. And one thing I learned from the Main Street project is don't listen to the salesman.
Well, I will say I came through Saturday night. It is amazingly different than it was a year ago, coming
Yeah.
through town at night now. It is lit up.
Yeah.
Well, and it's obvious that the newer ones compared to the older
Yeah.
ones too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can definitely see that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Make a motion that we notify National Grid that we'd like to purchase the streetlights for the town of Ayer.
Second.
All in favor, Gary?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Motion passes. Good work.
I don't know what okay. I didn't put together, I just got on the Shirley Street Bridge, I just got the report from the state engineer today. And it paints a bleaker picture than I thought.
Okay. So there goes the light saving.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the board, just to frame the issue for the public's benefit. Obviously, the Shirley Street Bridge has been closed, and it was put forth by the DPW superintendent to the Capital Planning Committee. There was a capital plan put forward to repair and replace the bridge, and the Capital Planning Committee had a couple of meetings with Mark on that and voted they voted not to take any action at that time, but wanted the inspection of the bridge to be done by the state, which obviously took some time with the winter that we have when the snow finally cut off the bridge and so forth. And so the superintendent, I think you just got the report, as he said. The report, as mentioned at the Capital Planning Committee, does not give specific prices and so forth, but
Yeah, it basically, all they do is they inspect it, they tell you where the deficiencies
What you
are.
need,
They don't
yeah.
say, replace it with this, or fix this
Sure.
way. They basically say, here's the problems with your bridge. So, what the town engineer and I can start doing is start looking at, now that we have this, how do we repair it? What I had hoped was that we could fix, what happened was, and I knew this bridge had some structural issues, but I didn't think they were as imminent as they are now. But what happened was, in one of the thunderstorms the end of last summer, it washed out around some of the abutments. So the road was not passable. So that's when we put up the road closed barriers.
Settled down.
And so then I proposed to at least do the fixes to those washouts so that we could reopen the bridge and then sometime in the next year or two replace it. But the engineering report says don't drive across it anymore.
Okay.
So we need
So-
a total replacement?
Yes. And like I said, I don't know exactly what the options are and what the costs are yet, because we just got the report today and we'll have to look. It's safe to walk across. So what it is it's got stone abutments. Some are mortared, some aren't.
Yeah,
It's
some
got a
are.
concrete cap on top, and then it's got steel girders going across, and then it's got a steel deck with concrete on top. Some of that deck is corroded. Well, the two outside joists are completely deteriorated.
Now, if you look at, from West Main Street,
Yeah.
it doesn't look good.
No.
No, I've noticed that too, driving my daughter to school.
And
Looks a little rough.
yeah, so there's no structural strength on the two the upstream and downstream girders. There's some concrete issues where the girders sit on top of the abutments. There's some issues with the abutments structurally seem okay, but there's some scouring and some mortar that's missing. So just to give you an idea on the rating, so they rate 0 means it's gone, and 9 means it's basically brand new. The deck they gave a 4, which means that's poor rating.
It's probably one of the best ratings. Go
The
ahead.
superstructure, which is so the deck, when I say the deck, that's the top deck.
Yeah.
The structures, the girders underneath, they gave a 4, which is another poor rating. And then the substructure, they gave a 3.
All right, so
So,
now back to what we talked about in
Which is a
capital.
fail, is that?
Is this?
a 3 is a serious loss of section, deterioration, spalling, or scour have seriously affected primary structural
Okay.
components.
Now, the question I have is,
A 1 is an imminent failure.
it's a local bridge. Is it?
Yes.
Is it necessarily needed?
I think that's a question to pose to, number one, the public safety.
No, that's why I'm asking
Officers.
you. I know we need to
I think,
investigate that. I mean, I hate to spend $1 million.
one of the things, after seeing this bridge report, I need to go underneath the bridge on West Main Street and see if
I
there's.
thought about asking to see if he could inspect that, then I got nervous that he'd be closing that one down too. So I figured maybe.
So what I'll do is I'll take a look at that one and see if it's, because it's a similar design, but I don't know. This one was built in 1900, so it's
Shirley Street.
Shirley
I
Street.
think the one on
And I don't know.
1950 maybe.
Yeah, I think that one's newer, and it's probably in better shape, but, because there's been some work on the roads
Yeah.
and stuff, and I'm sure it's been inspected since then. So I'll try to get some information on that.
So what are you looking for a time frame if we decide to go forward with it?
Well, the first thing we need to do is figure out what we want to do, and then we would have to hire a bridge engineer to design it. So, so I would guess we would probably, the fastest we could probably be doing something would be in the fall of, or sometime during the summer of, or fall of 2016. We can use Chapter 90 money for that, but but then you don't pave any roads because it uses more than our whole
We could have used some free
appropriation.
cash for that.
So. Now, one of the things also, and I'm not an expert on this, but I did try to do a little research. If you wanted to close the bridge, I think it takes a town meeting vote because it then would not be a through street anymore.
Yeah, and like I had mentioned this before, I don't want to leave it like Shirley left Hazen Road there with that just
Right, leave it.
barriers up and growing over. That's not the way we want to leave it, even if it was a walking bridge. Can you guys do anything to make it a walking, safe?
Well, we have it set so people can walk
Okay, so you can
across
do
it,
it now.
yeah.
The last time I was down there, there was so much snow, it was hard to see, but
Yeah.
so the neighbors can use it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right,
And the state did tell us we need to put some more signs up, so we've ordered some additional signs.
okay.
So.
That was my fear, that they were gonna come out and find.
Well, we knew it was bad,
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I know.
but
You-
I didn't know it
you
wasn't,
warned
not drive across it bad.
Yeah, so maybe it was a blessing that it did wash out last year, because we may not have looked at it for a bit.
Yeah.
What was I, there was something I had to ask Mark. Oh, Mark, I know you guys didn't put in street signs, and can that get somewhere on the agenda, you know, when things slow down a little bit, straighten some of the street signs?
They've been doing that as they
Okay.
can.
Some
You know
of them
what?
are- Some of them are just
Yeah,
really from the winter.
and that we've done some of the worst ones. Where, you know, we've just finished getting all this roads swept.
Mhm.
And we actually started mowing today. So, and we've been fixing signs and also putting up some new signs.
Okay.
So that's in process.
And then I'm gonna ask one question, and I know Gary brought this up. Can they cut some of those posts on some of those signs? This is one they turn on the Snake Hill Road, that the sign stops here and the post ends up about.
Yeah,
3 feet high.
they've done some of
Okay.
those, and
Just a
so one of the
aesthetic
things
thing.
that
Some of them
one
are
of the
Howard
things
Street,
we're
yeah.
gonna have to do is go around and really check the inventories on all
And
the
some of the
signs.
signs may not, I mean, some of them are just, may not even be needed. too.
One of the problems with some of the street signs too, I don't know if you noticed, we took the one down on one of the Willard street signs down
The one that's
because.
this long?
and
Well, the trucks would
well,
go by.
the wind blows, so we ended up putting in, you know, we just had these little concrete collars around
Takes
it.
up
We ended up
someone's
putting
window in the house.
putting a 12-inch sonotube around it.
Yeah.
And there were a couple others we did like
we-
that. I
we
forgot,
saw- I mean,
Douglas was kind of,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, there's a
so
few.
they fixed that. and-
Can they, Pearl and Groton Street, there's no sign there for Pearl Street,
Okay,
just so you know.
Pearl and what?
Groton, there is no
Most of the
sign.
signs seem to make the winter, though.
When was the last time there was a sign there?
well, there may not have ever been one there, because when we put the signs up, I sat down with
Yeah.
Chief Pedrazi, and we had the 911
Right.
listing, and we kind of went through and said, so we don't have, at every intersection, we don't have 2 signs.
Yeah.
So we kind of went through and said, where do we need 2 signs? And we knew that there were going to be some issues where we had to fill some in, and I've been talking,
okay.
and after we put up all the signs, I talked to the police department to get some ideas from them on
Yeah.
where they're missing, so we can easily add them. And I do have money in my budget every year to add some new signs, and,
Can I
Yeah.
ask, one other thing, and I just thought, I saw it today, and I remember we had this gentleman here from Groton before, right over the line. He
yeah,
wanted more water access or sewer access.
he needs to connect to the sewer,
And his house is for sale.
okay?
So where
'Cause
does
he
that
was-
leave us?
I don't know, because he
Because we had
wanted
no
to-
agreement with him, right?
It
It was just a,
Right. So if he sells it, I would guess, in order to sell it, he needs to connect to our system.
Either that or put in a septic, right?
well, we just need to be on the ball with that, just
Yeah.
in case.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that the house was for
Yeah, that's for
sale.
sale.
Because they were trying to get it done last fall, and they,
Well, I don't even know if he owns all that field, or is that conservation? It might be. I don't know. But, I mean, you know, if you see 100-unit thing going in and hooked into our system, it could be a problem.
Pothole relief, any money come yet for that?
yes, we're just, we have the contractor all lined up, ready to do. We got about 4 areas in town that are the worst to do. One of them, we're going to do the crossing on Sandy Pond Road, where crosses the tracks. We did some
Oh, yeah,
pothole
yeah.
patching, but
Yeah.
I met with the MBTA out there, because I said, in between the tracks is really where the problem is, and they said,
Same with wagons.
get this. He says, well, that's the town's responsibility. I said, well, it's between the tracks.
They tried
And he
that
says,
down already.
well, he sends me the Massachusetts state law.
And that's the case?
Yeah, except it says it has to be passable for horse and buggy. That's how far back these laws go.
Oh, man.
Well, I don't think a horse would have a
So,
problem.
yeah, the horse would be okay, the buggy might, depending on.
And then have you come up with a chapter, have you decided what you're gonna do for chapter 90 money? Yeah.
So I've submitted for, it's kind of interesting, because we're in the process of closing out last year's jobs and getting more money, but so I've submitted to do
Groton Harvard?
Groton Harvard from where we left off before down to Washington. Copeland, which is in pretty tough shape, and it's not really,
It's a
it wasn't
full-
ever really built for those trucks.
It's a full on that one?
Yeah, that would be full. And then a mill and overlay on Central Ave from Groton Harvard Road to Sandy Pond Road. So those are the projects have been submitted.
Okay.
We should be hearing back from them
Just
pretty soon.
One more quick thing, and this isn't you too. The National Grid patch on Sandy Pond Road that they put down last fall, and you guys had to go patch because it ripped right up. Do they have any? Are they done? When you turn on to Sandy Pond from Westford?
From Westford.
At the schoolhouse.
Yeah,
where it comes down.
they've been out there and they're going to fix that.
I know you
They've
guys
got
laid
some
down
other
temp
patches,
fix,
yeah.
But they did an awful job. Last year, Mark had mentioned an awful
It's
job.
kind of interesting dealing with National Grid because
Yeah.
if they're putting in, and that was, they knew what they were supposed to do. As
Yep.
a matter of fact, I really wanted them to repave that whole
Because that's
intersection.
relatively new there too,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they are going to come out and they're going to take out that pavement, put new
Oh, great.
pavement back
All right.
in.
I didn't mean to ask you that.
There's some other places where they didn't patch it the way their permit says, and they're going to come back and fix those.
Okay, so they're
I
willing to do
think
that?
that they did. I didn't check it, but I think as you went down Groton School Road,
They did.
that they
It's
did
fixed
fix
now.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that today.
Yeah, that
So-
peeled right up the first snowstorm
Yeah,
up there, and
yeah.
I saw your guys, patching it.
And there's some
Right.
other spots, they did a lot of work up on the hill,
Mm-hmm.
on Williams and, I think Coolidge and
Yep.
some of those. And most of that held up pretty well. I think Williams has some issues that they need to come back.
Well, they
and
did the
fix.
one down there so late too. They did it late, maybe mid-November,
Yeah.
I think, right before the season.
So we're on top of
And
it
you
with
hold them.
them.
I mean, you issue the permits.
Right,
So that
right.
you have some leverage
Right,
there.
yeah.
Okay, awesome.
It's the ones we have problems with is when they have a leak and they have to go out and fix it.
Yeah.
Then they're not usually as careful as the guys that are replacing the pipes. So I have to kind of chase them around. He's supposed to be fixing some stuff down on West Main Street where those Jersey barriers were for a long
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And then those have sunk and he's supposed to come back and do those too.
One more quick question. Is Victor Drive open?
Yes.
So it's, all right, great.
It should be all done with the exception of we're going to put a new fence up along the top of the retaining wall, just
Okay.
so that
The last time I was
when the
down there,
neighbors
it
are
was
mowing their
80
lawn,
feet
we
of
don't
snow.
want them to mow over.
Yeah, I saw Jim face.
It looks really nice, yeah.
You got out?
You get out, yeah.
I heard the neighbors up there liked living on a dead-end road.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah,
My
some
meal,
of them, yeah.
my mealman
Mur-
doesn't.
No, I didn't hear
Murray
any
Clark
complaints.
Murray Clark liked it. So I imagine Jim did too. So anyways.
Yeah.
All right,
All right, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
you know how to use that?
Did you just phaser me?
How you doing? Are you doing minutes? Are you doing minutes?
Yeah, from
Oh.
my own brain. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, through you to members of the board on the town administrator's report, just very briefly, under the administrative update, as the board knows, on April 21st, in the joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and FinCom, the budget and the warrant have been approved for town meeting. The warrant has been mailed to all households and received, and we are ready for town meeting on Monday, May 11th at 7 p.m. here in the Great Hall of Town Hall. That preparation of the budget, the warrant, and all of the town meeting preparations have been really the focal point of the last 2 weeks. As you heard tonight, through this board's leadership, the process is now underway on the buying of the street lights and the conversion of the LED. Also, the LED conversion of Town Hall and the lighting upgrade projects at the police station and the fire station funded through the Green Communities Grant are all underway as well. The Energy Committee also is preparing, Mark and I are preparing a request for proposal for the development of a solar field for the town of Ayer, with the primary site being the landfill, the capped landfill site, the secondary site being the wastewater property down at DPW. It's a little bit more involved than a lot of sort of traditional RFPs, but we're at least moving forward in that direction. Obviously, ultimately, any decision would come to this board and then may also go to town meeting as far as if a lease agreement exceeds 3 years. But we've gotten that back on the radar screen after a lot of work there on the energy end of things. I just want to also point out that the net metering agreement that this board sponsored in 2012 and town meeting approved for 20 years We're just finishing the second year into that net metering agreement, which is the solar array down in Southbridge, Mass. And through a lot of hard work by the town accountant and the DPW superintendent, to date, we have saved approximately $208,000 in net metering credits. So I think that's another positive energy effort as we move forward in that direction. Once town meeting is finished on Monday, the comprehensive plan committee and the comprehensive plan effort will get underway in sort of full steam, and I'll have a more detailed update for this board as well as a schedule. And there are still some resident vacancies on the committee, so there may be some, obviously there will be some more appointments for that. There is an article on the town meeting warrant sponsored by this board for $10,000 for consultant services to support that effort. So the comprehensive plan, and this board will play a role in that as well, will be coming forward in the weeks ahead. The non-union personnel compensation study, as a unanimous vote of the personnel board, voted to defer this to the fall town meeting. Will be, and the board will be copied on this at the May departmental head staff meeting. I'll have a full schedule and plan with the departments to conclude this study for the personnel board by July. They intend to hold another public hearing and then bring this forth to town meeting upon your approval to the warrant for consideration.
I'm sorry, could you just reiterate, it was a unanimous vote by the personnel board to wait until fall town meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is more of an administrative thing, but we will bring that to conclusion. The MBTA, as has been reported, is currently concluding the surveying of the Depot Square property. They're using the VHB engineering. I was at a MART advisory meeting this morning where I emphasized 2 points. One is the importance of the shuttle service to not only Ayer, but my colleague, Mr. Hatch, who's the representative in Shirley, was on the same page, as is Ms. Garvin, as we are, that we understand, everybody understands Littleton as far as the reverse commute, but don't forget Ayer and Shirley are key, especially where the Ayer station is the closest one to Devon. So, and I think we just need to continue to
Oh, we will.
I know.
Does
Mr.
Matt
Ch-
understand?
Yes, yeah, and
They were unaware, I mean.
I said, look, again, as was discussed, is the clear communication to the board is what was, missing. The second piece, I did see while I was out there, there has been some conceptual work done by the MBTA in consultation with MART on the resolution of this issue. I emphasized very clearly that we passed a line of sort of frustration and reasonability, and at this point, let's get this done. They're telling me the middle of May, but I'm just...
Of what year?
Right.
Yeah.
But
it is surveyed. It is
yeah,
fine.
it is
It's all-
surveyed.
That's all done.
It is surveyed, so those parties, they're looking to reconvene this the middle of May. It's already the first week of May, but it remains until that issue is resolved. And also with the conclusion of town meeting and in preparation for the fall town meeting, it's something we haven't even gotten through the spring one and looking to the fall. The superintendent and the town engineer, myself with town council, through a directive from this board, again, on the acceptance of the unaccepted streets. The plan is to put together a comprehensive plan for this board. There's going to be some streets, the goal is, I call them the low-hanging fruit, but some of the streets that is just a matter of some technicalities, if you will, to get them prepared for the fall town meeting for consideration for acceptance, so they get onto the Chapter 90 roster in their public ways. But there are going to be some, as this board already knows and aware, that we have to look at, and this is not unique to Ayer, but some, if you look, I call them sort of the ledgeway, sedgeway down by the pond, some of those streets, when they were put in, they don't meet any standards, and there's no room to, there's going to be some challenges, but that's going to be put together with the plan for the fall town meeting to at least begin to get these scheduled for acceptance. And that's where we're at. Lastly, the town will be receiving a check in the amount of $21,000 from our property insurance through Maya. This is through a bunch of efforts that the facilities department has done, as well as various department heads, the chiefs at their buildings and so forth. Property improvements we got. Not only did we get a bunch of credits, usually we apply the credits, but because the rates didn't increase, at least something, the rates didn't increase on the property, we'll be getting $21,000 back on that. So just another little piece of
Good job.
positive news as we move forward. So as far as the items in the report, the first item is an appointment of the municipal hearing officer. I'm respectfully recommending that the board appoint Ms. Carly Antonellis, the assistant to the town administrator, as the municipal hearing officer, as is in the packet. With the creation of the full-time daytime fire prevention position, it allows the town, and we are doing this, to issue citations for certain violations of the building code and fire code, non-criminal. In order to do that, you have to have the right to appeal. A resident or business has the right to appeal, so you have to have an appeal officer that is not under the fire department. Ms. Antonellis is the parking hearing officer. The chief and I are recommending that she be appointed as the municipal hearing officer. In the event that there's an appeal, she would conduct that appeal with the building commissioner and the fire chief's input.
I just want to ask you, that is going to overtask her?
It-
She wears a lot of
right,
hats, and
right.
she does a wonderful job, but I want to make sure that we're not overtasking her.
No. The answer to that is no. We anticipate maybe a maximum of 2 appeals a year.
Okay.
Since we implemented this last July, the Harvard Town Administrator, this board appointed as the interim, we haven't had any appeals, and there have been fines. But it's a good question.
Ma'am, you had raised your hand. Was it on this subject?
It was on something he talked about earlier.
Go ahead real quick.
What is it? Thank you. My name is Lori Nearing. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to ask a question from one of your first descriptions on your agenda, Mr. Pombarian, of the solar farm.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple of questions regarding as a citizen. I had been approached by a local solar organization that wanted me to buy pieces of a solar farm from my house that would sort of co-own it. And I'm wondering if the solar farm you're describing for Ayer is one that citizens would be able to sort of co-own it and benefit from it. In other words, I put money forward and I get some benefit back as if I had property that could hold a solar house myself, solar panels myself, which I don't. Is that going to be the kind of thing, or is this really totally to benefit the town of Ayer?
Mr. Chair, through you to Ms. Nearing, we're right at the very beginning of all this, and there'll have to be a public process, public hearings and so forth. But I'm just going to say conceptually the intent is to develop one of those sites and that the energy would be used to benefit the town and for residents. The committee, this is the Energy Committee speaking, would like it to benefit the town and sort of the scenario you're talking about as well. And so not a net metering agreement, not selling it to, say, the private sector, but an opportunity to benefit Ayer residents and the municipal operations of the town. But we're just getting started, and we welcome, as the chairman said, there'll be quite a public process on that. And ultimately, usually it'd be a lease agreement. The town would retain the land, the town land. It will most likely exceed 3 years, so under the statute, it will have to go to town meeting like the debt metering agreement did. So we're just getting started again, but the Energy Committee meetings are public, so welcome to join us.
One follow-up question real quick. My understanding is that the cap for Massachusetts has already been met, so we're not within that cap. So we have to wait and see if the regulations change and they allow more solar panels.
Yes.
And I think that's in the process right
Yeah,
now.
it is sort of a waiting period, so yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Ron, go ahead.
So I'm respectfully requesting the appointment of the municipal hearing officer.
I make a motion that we appoint Carl Antonellis as the municipal hearing officer. Is there a period of time, Robert?
It's annual, Mr. Chair, it's
It's
an
a
annual
reappointment.
appointment, so it would be effective upon the vote of the board, and then it would be renewed with the appointments
Oh, okay.
every
Oh,
year,
first.
annually.
All right, I'm done.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Thank you.
Hearing officer.
The next item on the agenda has to do with the Chapter 61A properties on Nashua and Pleasant
Robert,
Street.
do you mind if we just get through the other two agenda items? Because I have a feeling there's going to be a couple questions on the
Okay.
61A.
All right.
You guys object to that? I just prefer to get to
All
the
right.
third court.
Yeah, well, actually, okay, so the other two, the FMLA policy and the sick leave policy, and this was put in here by Mr. Johnson and I to start sort of the discussion, so I want to, the board does not have to make a decision tonight.
Good.
So if the board wants to table it, just real quick, the FMLA policy is largely dictated already by the federal law. What we're looking for, or what this board needs to decide, is how we administer the policy, and what I mean by that is the issue of the time. In other words, if someone goes on FMLA, are we going to make them use all of their accrued time, meaning their vacation and personal, and then go to sick? Do they use half of their accrued time? And so how, that's really the decision for this board.
It's up to us?
Yeah.
They can use all that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what, on that one, we're looking for at some point.
I was talking to Kevin a little bit about
Yeah.
this earlier, and I mean, the federal law is pretty specific, and it's administered through the OPM, Personal Management, Office of Personal Management. There are specific forms that people fill out, WH-380, WH-382, 383, to notify the employer of a health issue for them or for a family member. And those sign-offs have to be completed by a physician and so forth. I'm just afraid that this will muddy it. If you want to talk about just what kind of leave to use, have a simple one-sentence thing about how much leave to use. Not any of this other stuff is going to be contrary to what the federal law is,
Okay.
I think. I mean, you might want to look at it more. Everybody has different, I mean, I know Janice, your FMLA rules are different than mine are. I mean, at the Postal Service, the employee can use whatever they deem they need for, could be sick leave, it could be leave without pay, it could be vacation, you know. If we do have to come up with something,
Yeah.
and how, I thought we did already a couple of years ago when Melissa was here, but
But isn't this a change? Isn't this why we're
Yeah,
doing
this
this
is
again?
voted.
Or
This was-
we
wasn't this
didn't
just-
certify this?
no change.
What we're looking for is a vote at some point, doesn't have to be tonight, as to what is the town's policy going to be on how you use the time, just as you
Right,
put it.
what I'd like to see is that
Okay.
specific. I don't think we need employees are entitled to continue group health plan benefits.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you're dealing with unions and non-unions and everything else.
Simplify it.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
Yeah.
and I don't want to come out with something and one of the town unions say, well, that's not what we wanted. Oh, that's contrary. I mean, it needs a little bit more looking into.
Oh, I agree.
think.
I mean, I agree, and I think you encapsulated
And
the
I think
fundamental.
Kevin should come, I think we
Yeah,
need a
Kevin,
discussion, but, yeah.
be happy to come back, that the fundamental issue, if you will, is how is the town going to administer the use of the time? That's it. I mean, like. you
Bottom
said,
line.
Bottom
Boom.
line,
Yeah,
so.
thank you.
So,
Yeah.
why don't, Mr. Chairman, we can
Yeah.
table this, I mean, I'm not, unless you guys
I have
further
no,
discuss it,
no,
but
I'd rather have
why don't
Kevin
we
here,
come
and
back
I
with
agree with
Kevin?
you. Simplify it, and
All right. The second one is a sick leave policy, and again, this is what respectfully recommending or looking for, is on July 1st of 2015,
I know.
as a result of the November 2014 state election, the Massachusetts paid sick time law will become effective. And you have in the packet the memo that Kevin prepared, and he and I discussed this with Attorney Jenkins at Town Council. And what we're recommending at this time is that the board take a vote not to accept the provisions of the new sick leave law, which you can do, meaning the Board of Selectmen. And the reason being, if you take no action, then the town does not have to implement this sick leave requirement per the statute, because the new law was largely designed to give sick time, if you will, to private small businesses and so forth that have no sick time provisions. In this case, most of our positions do. I mean, if you want to open that up, there's going to be an added cost to all of the part-time, non-benefited positions.
But are we going to be contrary to what the law says?
The way the law is written, that's when I talked to town council.
Yeah.
Unless you adopt it,
Yeah.
you don't.
We're not going to get in trouble if we
No.
don't adopt it?
Yeah, most of the towns aren't.
Really?
Yeah. But
I would say probably the reason why for that is because it just happened in November and the state's still trying to figure it out. And then they'll come back to us later and say, okay, now you do have to adopt.
Well, that's fine, we can, you're probably
Yeah.
right. We can always
Yeah.
cross that bridge back
Right.
when we have to, so.
So,
You need us to vote on that, or just
well, what we were asking is, yeah, the reason for the vote from the board would be that would be the policy of the town at this time. Because come July 1st, we have to make a decision, and it's a recommendation of the administration not to implement it.
Gary?
I don't want my employees of here to bite my head off, but,
No, they will.
you know, I recommend the town not accept the provisions of the new sick leave law, and town council be contacted to ensure the town is in compliance with all statutory requirements prior to July 1st, 2015.
Second.
seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. The next item is for the Board of Selectmen, the building department staffing. What is in the packet for your consideration is a proposal for an administrative assistant for the building department with a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon, and Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Schedule for a total not to exceed 18 hours worked per week. This was from input from this board when we brought this before you last time. The building commission had less coverage, if you will. This position would fall under the ASME 93 Town Hall
It would?
contract. It's administrative assistant.
Do you have both of them?
Hmm?
Both of them?
Well, I'm on
Oh,
the first
okay,
one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Slow down.
yeah. So
Back off, killer.
that it's going to be a tough sell on this particular one, not to be in the union, given the nature of other positions.
Yeah, I can understand.
Now, we haven't had that discussion yet with the union, which I will right after this.
But we already know how it's gonna go.
But
You're talking the first one?
the first one.
Okay.
So then the second one, the Assistant Zoning Enforcement Officer, this would be at a rate of, would have an initial schedule of 15 hours per week. And as mentioned, after this initial period of working with the building commissioner, if you will, brought up to speed, this will largely be on an as-needed basis, not to exceed 15 hours a week. In other words, so there's a zoning violation, so forth, this position would investigate it and do basically, it's inspectional in nature. And therefore, the inspectional aspect in nature the going on to the private property, dealing with potential confidential information, would make a strong case they would actually be non-union position, which adds the other wrinkle in talking informally to the chair of the personnel board. This has got to have to go to the personnel board to be looked at.
5 years from now, should be good to go. Yeah, I agree.
So what do you want?
Do you want us to make a motion to approve what we discussed in February that finally is now in print with the job description?
I thought we approved that then.
Yes.
And this money's already appropriated due to the full-time, yeah.
Well, it will be.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
Do we, I mean, this is more of just a hiring, right? We don't need to make a motion on this.
Yeah, the first one will fall under the rubric of the clerical contract, hence is pretty much the job description. And the thing with the union is because there's only a specific amount, the rate at $15, per hour and so forth, that will be the constraints of it within the contract.
Okay.
The second one, the personnel board is probably going to want to look at.
I'm sure they will. Okay.
Okay, so do you want a motion to authorize the detached job descriptions?
Yes.
In the memorandum dated May 1st from Robert Pomperant to the Board of Selectmen?
Yes, because then when I go to the union on the first one and the personnel board on the second one, I can say that the board has reviewed and recommends these.
That was a motion.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye. Aye.
Just as
How
I-
much you want to bet this will be back? A couple months.
It's like a
I
bad
don't want to bet
penny.
because I'll lose.
Then I'm just going to
Yeah.
get rid of the building department. Start over.
So then, the last item under my...
Just start that. Go ahead.
So the last item under my report has to do with the Chapter 61A lands, Nashua and Pleasant Street. As the board is aware, it's been the policy of the board and the town that the process set forth in the statute under 61A would be adhered to. And the first step in that process is notice from the property owner to the town as far as the intent of those lands. And on April 27th, we did receive 3 statements pertaining to each property from the property owners. And I think that it's safe to say that Chapter 61A, at least for many in the town, myself included, is sort of new territory as far as the details, and the devil is always in the details. So I took the notices, and town council reviewed the notices that were submitted, and there's a recommendation of town council that the notices are, when I use the word deficient, this is not reflective on the property owner or the author of the letters, but the notices are deficient in that, in the opinion of town council, they don't contain all of the substantive information that is needed under 61A, which is outlined in this memo to you. My intent on recommendation from council tonight was to get your authorization, and when I refer to town council, I'm referring to Attorney Winter, for town council to contact the property owner regarding the notices so that the notices can be, so the notices are properly put together to the town. For example, one of the things is it an intent to sell or is it an intent to convert? And I'm being overly simplifying that. And what is the price? You see in the memo the various things that are missing. Then once the notices are sufficient to the statute, then the town can proceed, this board can proceed with the rest of the process, which is in the right of first refusal, is in part of making that determination, is conducting a public hearing, but ultimately the decision as to whether to purchase the land or not resides with the Board of Selectmen. And my intent, and I think everybody's intent, is to make sure that the process is followed to a T, so all parties
Everybody's covered.
everybody's on the same page, and we have the same information. There was no intent tonight to have, if you will, a substantive deliberation or judgments or opinions made as to what to do about the land. It was to
from
get
what I read.
authorization so we can use town council, I'm just saying, to get the notice piece correct. So what I'm looking for is authorization to use town council to respond on the notices.
So we are asking town council, or giving permission to town council to reach out to the parties to tell them what needs to be in the letter or in
Right.
there.
Right.
To make it sufficient
Right.
legally for
Yeah.
themselves and for the town
Yeah.
to move forward.
Last point, Mr. Chairman, and on this is the process of 61A. The reason there's that whole process, and process can be personal opinions depending on the process, can be very painful in the detail. But as we have said, as this board has said from the beginning when the issue came forward, we need to follow that process and make the appropriate decisions on that continuum in that process, whatever that may be. Is very clear that everybody involved has personal opinions either way on this or what have you, but we're just not at, this isn't a public hearing tonight on it. It isn't a discussion on the merits or the demerits of the land and so forth. That's why the notice, as
We haven't got to that point
right,
yet.
and the notice, we want the notice to be correct because it contains key information that everybody needs to have. And by following the entire process, it also ensures that it was done correctly, whatever that ultimate decision may be. And ultimately, if the decision, just speaking conceptually, it largely involves this board at this process, and then depending on certain decisions, whether it goes to town meeting or not.
So kind of putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah,
Move
Way-
we
on.
gotta
way
get the, we
before.
gotta get
Yeah.
the proper
Yeah.
notices
Yeah.
before we can even discuss.
So, and as the board knows, and there are several folks here, when the packet and so forth is put forth in the agenda, there are folks, and I hate to always say on both sides of an issue, but there are people that are very interested in this issue and the outcome, from the owner to abutters to the town.
Yeah, I remember when the last time we did this was back, WW2, no, it was,
Your first term in office?
it was like 2002 or something, and it was actually the Smith Farm and Autumn Ridge, which you purchased. It was around that, 2002, 3, around that. And the Smith Farm, Mr. Smith came to, right. So we've been through the process before, kind of, but we want to make sure it's done right, so.
So essentially, this gets resubmitted, we have a public hearing, the board votes on it.
Right.
It
the
simplifies
notices- yeah,
three of us.
The notices are resubmitted with the statutory required information. That'll be
And that'll trigger.
that's step one, which will then trigger.
And this shouldn't be a long time frame. I mean, it's pretty spelled out, I mean, right? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
I would think that this would be something that could move pretty fast.
So what do you want?
I'm looking for a motion to authorize town council to address the issue of the notices. And when I say address the issues of the notices, it's not, I'm not
Making
talking
sure
about
they're proper.
enforcement, right? It's not any wrongdoing or enforcement.
Properly written so
Right.
that they can be properly.
And why I'm
submitted.
asking for that authorization is, you know, that there is a cost to that, but it's money that is well spent to do it correctly, but there's a cost, and therefore when the finance committee and others ask about the town council budget, that on this end, the process has been followed as well.
Gary?
Make a motion to authorize town council to officially respond to Mr. Calvin Moore's 3 letters as received on April 27, 2015, are deficient, and to advise the statutory process under 61A, including the correct notices, must and will be followed by the town of Ayer.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion.
Yep, hold on a second. Chair says aye.
Calvin said.
I'm sorry, I got you, Kevin, she said, had it first, go ahead, sorry.
Hi, Krista
Yeah.
Jackson Street.
Mhm.
I just wanted to speak to the board of my frustration with this process. I feel like this has come up on numerous meetings, Board of Selectmen meetings, where things have been found to be deficient in the process of Chapter 61A intent to sell or convert. I'm concerned that I feel like the town is really bearing the brunt of the legal costs, and we're really taking on a lot of that. For I feel like if this is something that, I mean, I'm certainly in support of the decision that you made, but just the frustration that I feel like if you own land and you want to convert it or transfer it in some way, that those are lawyers' fees and things that you need to research on your own, and I feel like the town of Ayer is really picking up the slack for that. And since it's been in litigation for so long, we really, as townspeople, haven't had access to information, because I know I've sent emails to different boards and I haven't gotten a response from anybody, this board included. So I've come to this town hall to ask questions, and I was informed that it may be because it was in the process of discussion with town council, litigation, so on and so forth, and that is most likely why nobody's been able to talk about it. So again, that's also just been a really frustrating process, because it is of such concern to many of us who live in the neighborhood. So thank you.
There's no litigation that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
The town, the town is, we are protecting the board, the town, the citizens of the town. We need to follow the process.
Agreed.
So we notified the seller, or the proposed seller, that these are the guidelines that needed to be followed. And then it was kind of it was a little bit of a time period went by. And then just recently, I think as early as, was it last week?
Last week.
That we received the letters from the seller. So that's why it's on the agenda tonight. So we would be involved with town council regardless, and that this is not to fight this project. There's no opinion here at all. This is just to cover the basis for us to make sure the process is followed correctly, because Chapter 61A is very involved and confusing. So we have only contacted town council to protect us as a town, to make sure not only are the sellers following the right, but not only that, but the town is following the right procedure, because we don't need to be in litigation later on because we didn't do something correct, and that goes for both parties. So I would think that's pretty much where it's been at. Yeah, Jen?
Well, I'm a little distressed to hear that you contacted this board and didn't get any response, because if I'm correct, I believe any time this subject came up, it was rather open. So, and everything that we always discuss at an open meeting is in our packet, which is posted online. So, you know, on the Friday before a meeting, everyone always knows exactly what's going to get discussed. So I'm a little disturbed to hear that you might not have gotten a response from this board, but you know as much as we've known.
Yeah, we're not hiding.
Yeah,
we haven't
any
discussed
time
it.
that's been, yeah, I can't even remember the last time it get discussed. I mean, we've been aware of it, but until it comes up, that's when it gets discussed, and in an open meeting. So I'm a little distressed about that.
Yeah, I was as well,
Calvin.
and I think
Calvin,
that the questions, you know, emails that I would send periodically were just, you know, is there any more information? I haven't seen anything on the agenda. Has there been an update for the last request of notice of intent? And, you know, since I just didn't get a response, I came down here and said, what's going on? Do people, you know, are board members checking their email? Maybe they're not going through. You know, so that has been happening. You know, it's a shame then, I guess, on both ways. Certainly, I don't mean to direct any hostility at all towards the board. I just, in general, am saying that
Mhm.
it's, as a townsperson, it's been sort of just a frustrating process in general, sort of just, getting information. It seems like it's been going,
Well,
Well, there hasn't been any
Because there's
information.
no
There hasn't been
information.
information except for some of the stuff on the Yahoo groups, which has been completely incorrect. So
Yeah.
we've not discussed this with essentially, it was given to us and we reviewed it by council and basically punted it back to the landowners to do some things. And until last week, the ball was in their court.
Yeah.
So then it came back to us, now it's on the agenda, so. Calvin?
Yeah, I guess I got a couple questions here, is that why wasn't the other owner of one of the parcels of the letters notified, which is CJ? I'm not the owner of all these parcels. In the letter that Wiener, CJ's right here, he wasn't even notified, as Robert was saying, but going back to Mr. Wiener in Boston on November, his letter was full of inaccuracies, which I notified you guys was. And on the bottom of that letter, when I pointed out the inaccuracies, because he was based it on neighborhood gossip and not the true facts and statements that I included in there, is that it was a waste of money to even get town council involved. Now, I know the CYA part of this whole thing, but I think I've been in this town long enough that a phone call would have took care of all of that, as it should tonight. Now, if you guys remember, we've talked to you people, not collectively, but also I was informed that the town does not want the parcel. You need to write a letter to the town. I said, well, what should I have in the letter? And I was given this. And I did exactly what I was told. Okay? The letter, with all due respect, Robert, and I don't want to slam anything.
Calvin, I'm sorry, what was that? I'm just... so you can-
It's a copy.
That was basically the 61A.
Oh, all right, thank you.
So,
All right.
But the letter that I saw through the gossip column on the emails today, is full of inaccuracies again.
It might have been the same one I was referencing.
And I'm saying to myself, why doesn't somebody just call me and take care of this stuff? Because when it says only one property owner is identified, yeah, there is only one property owner. There's no specific to price. True, I did not include that because I was not given that in the instruction package here. And it says that the notices were not properly addressed. Yes, they were. And even a notice of intent to convert it to sell was not stated. Yes, it was. It was the title of the paper. So I can go on and go on about misstatements in these letters. I'm just going absolutely out of my mind. We will be exercising our rights through those right-of-ways through there. They will be opened up. And I'm also saying that the property is not for sale at the present time. For CJ to help his mother out to sell us the big house there, 114, we have to subdivide that property. He has to. He is the owner of that. So we're trying to find out where the town is coming from. And that's all we were asking. And when I brought those letters in to the Board of Selectmen a week ago, I gave them to Carly on what I was told to do. Gave them to Carly, and I said, Carly, quote unquote, give these to Robert to see if these are what he wants. And if so, or if not, let me know. So then through the gossip emails, I find out that we're on the agenda for tonight. And I'm saying, there's a disconnect here somewhere from Main Street to the neighborhoods, because a phone call where it took care of it. I only did what I was told to do. The property's not for sale. We can outwait 61A, and it expires next year. And then I'm going to go on further to say, does the town really know what they want this is all about on the parcels? There's a lot of parcels involved. It's not all 61A. And I don't think anybody in this room that thinks they know what they're doing even knows what's part of that 61A.
Calvin, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what we're doing, so that's why we're going to town council to cover us.
That's right, but I honest to God, Mr. Chairman, don't waste the money. I know it was in the letter to Robert, on the letter here. I understand the statute very well. We spent a lot of money on that. But I was trying to expedite the process to saying, why spend all the money? I'm being informed that the town doesn't want it via the selectmen. The town doesn't want the property. So let's get the letter to the selectmen, which I did. Now, is the letter not complete 100%? And there is Malenko is not the owner. That's my error. Not a problem. There's not a price in there because the property is not for sale. We cannot sell the property until we find out and determine the highest and best use. And if it's open up those two right-of-ways and put in 30 houses on his project, then that's highest and best use. If you take a raw land cost of $70,000 or $80,000, is the town prepared to spend for a couple million?
Nope.
Same way on the parcels on National Street and Stillwater, because If it's not, why waste all the time on this whole process? That's where I'm coming from.
So CJ's isn't
CJ owns
61A,
parcel,
Parts of it.
parts of it are.
is.
There's two separate, which, like you said, there's not a discussion tonight, you guys wanted to.
Letters right here.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's two parcels I own solely, and there's the parcels that he owns, and no one in here is, except for the two of us, no disrespect, and we're clear on what exactly that is, and what of the X parcel is in 61A.
Okay.
Because it's only about, it's less than 8% of the property is in 61A.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying in closing is, I know you took a vote. Postpone the vote. Don't get Wiener involved. It's not necessary.
His name's Winter, Calvin. Okay.
You can call it whatever you want.
I guess you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, it's fine with us.
You know, I guess it was a Wiener, so I guess I'll leave it at that.
Whatever.
Well, can I, I mean, has everybody seen these? I can read these letters real quick if anybody wants. I mean, they were sent to April 20th.
Yeah, but that's all through the gossip emails today, so I'm sure that everybody's got them that's here, but I understand.
I don't know if they were.
What gossip emails? We don't know what you're talking about gossip emails. And was it a gossip email? that the
This one right here that came from you, Miss Maxon, that was sent out.
How was that a gossip email?
Well, they claim that you were worried about how the town wants to treat their or our forestry properties, as far as I'm concerned.
That's how was that gossip?
Okay.
It's in the statement because it's our property.
I said that I'm concerned.
Do what you want, Mr. Chairman, but
Property.
don't waste the money on town council. It's not necessary. We'll go through this, but the problem it's gonna be is, we don't have a price to put on there. So what do you do?
Because I can't get my definitive through planning board to get a price.
Well, see, that's why
It's a
town
long
council
process.
knows more than, yeah. I know nothing.
Calvin, I'm not disagreeing with you, and I understand.
But we
you
want it
guys want
done
the
right.
parcel. Yeah, but we do want it one right, and this isn't anything to cause you money, the residents money, us money. We're just trying to honestly protect us, because we're not, this isn't anything
Understand?
we understand that well, and that's all we're trying to do is do right by you, do right by the town.
And protect us.
And protect,
Yeah.
and first and foremost, protect us. But we really want to do it right, and then we go from there. And I understand, you did send the letters, and you did separate the two. I saw them last week. I hadn't read town council's opinion.
What we'll probably end up doing is just outwait the 61A issue and just continue on through our planning and just do it. It's only another year away, so it's not an issue. By the time we get done with planning board and everything else, it'll probably be a year.
There's another question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I think you.
Hi, that's Sue Meyer, co-chair of the Open Space and Recreation Plan Update Committee and Nashua Street resident. I just wanted to encourage you to certainly pursue the advice of town council on this issue. Chapter 61 is a very complex regulation, and I wanted to just clarify as well that there is a 30-day period under which we can request that the notifier make amendments or make changes to their notification. So we only have 30 days for town council to get back to them. Once we have proper notification, then the 120-day period of the town's option to act on right of first refusal is initiated. And I would really encourage the board to consider acting on that option. We have discussed.
Well, it's kind of hard to encourage us to act when we don't know what the cost is.
Exactly.
Right.
Because we don't know. Yeah.
Excuse me, in order to act on that option, we would go through an appraisal process so we would know what the cost is. But the situation that's fairly unique in this case is that because they're intending to develop it themselves, those that enrolled in the Chapter 61 process are intending to develop it themselves rather than to sell it to a developer. So whenever you have a bona fide offer, a sale, and a purchase and sale agreement, once the land is going to be transferred from the entity that enrolled in Chapter 61 to the entity that's going to develop it, that's when you would normally issue your right of first refusal notification. That's not the process here. So we don't have a valuation of the property at the time that the notice is necessarily given, with the exception of the sale that happened in, I think, January of 2014, which is what was the topic of the previous letter the town council issued indicating that the conveyance had happened and had triggered the reason for issuance of notification of the right of first refusal process to be started. that was town council's opinion. And if that is in fact the opinion, then there would actually be a conveyance tax that would need to be charged to the property owners as well. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not saying that that should have been considered conveyance. It was town council that said that should have been considered a conveyance.
I'm going to read this because I'm getting a little squirrely here with this and a little frustrated. This letter is to notify the town of our intent to sell certain parcels of land currently classified under Chapter 61A. The town has the first option to purchase the land. Therefore, we are asking if the town wants to exercise their right. Then it proposed use residential land, and then it lists the landowners now, various companies. Has it been, I mean, you're speculating. I don't know if Mr. Moore and Mr. Moore are going to be the ones developing the land. I don't know if that's ever been hammered out. So I think we're kind of putting the cart before the horse here.
They were requesting the development permit, so I'm not certain that they would be the ones developing. They're taking actions that would indicate they're intending to develop the parcels. They have the planning board permits and conservation order conditions for Nashua Street, and they've been before Pleasant, before the planning board for Pleasant Street.
Okay, I mean, but it is not uncommon for landowners to obtain permits and conservation and I'm not defending it, I'm just saying as I deal with this in the business I'm in, that they could do all this and then...
Yeah, but they'll agree that there's no current valuation of the property because the sale hasn't happened, or a bona fide sale is not planned.
Just clarification, there's a difference between approvals and permits.
Correct.
Yes,
We've
absolutely.
got the approvals.
Yeah.
I agree.
But we don't have the one project does.
Yes.
Nashua Street has its permit, I believe.
Ms. Maxon?
Ruth Maxon, Schultz Taft Street. This process actually, from what I understand, should have started a couple years ago when Net was trying to sell her property, which she might not have understood about being Chapter 61 since she inherited it probably basically. And but when she sold her property, she sold it to a developer. Whether or not it was her son, it doesn't really matter. She sold it to a developer, and that should have, and she probably didn't understand, but that should have settled the fact that she had to then offer to the town for the same amount for which she was selling it to the developer. And that is, I know in the Chapter 61, there's a process for selling it to a family member, but in this case, the family member didn't really it wasn't really going to use it as farming or forestry or whatever.
You were stating so many misstatements,
No,
Mrs.
she's not.
Maxon.
How would you
Well, you
assume that I
accused
wouldn't
me of
use it
that.
for farming or anything else? You
Well, when I talked to you on the phone and told you that I was willing to buy some of the land to keep it agricultural.
And I said I'd contact you.
You said you contact me, and
Mr.
it would be
Chairman,
10
you
years
said-
before
you're
you did
stating things that are
anything.
absolutely
So
wrong.
this is why we have a public hearing though,
Okay.
when we
Can I
have.
finish?
If it's factual, sure.
Factual, I talked to CJ.
Cal, thanks, but I'm not meeting. Please, but
I talked to CJ on the phone, he said nothing's gonna happen for 10 years. Now, I came down and
False.
I checked out
False.
I checked out at the assessor's office, and they said that when the land was transferred to Annette, it was stayed the same trust, but it was a change of trustee, and there was no problem with the Chapter 61. When it was transferred, when it was sold to CJ, that it was a different title for the land, and that he would have to renew his Chapter 61. And that means there should be a 10-year, you just a start of a 10-year thing if he just renewed the Chapter 61 as not only as a new trustee, which it wasn't, it was a whole new property owner. So that's what I've learned. And I really think the land should be valued at what the developer said he would pay in that for the land.
That's what town, that's what.
well, see, here's the
town
problem,
council-
and I'm not picking sides here. I understand your abutters, and I get it. But obviously you want the land purchased so there's not development. But that doesn't mean we just start bending this way, that way. I mean, we're following the process. And if we decide to purchase the land, we purchase the land. If we do not, we do not. But I don't think you're looking at it fairly here too, because we're trying to be fair to the abutters, the town, Mr. Moore. That's all we're trying to do here, and get to that point, and then have the public hearing and decide where we're at. That's why we've contacted town council. So we're way ahead of where we need to be right now. I wish we had been a lot farther along with this already, I agree. But I don't see, I mean, if people want to get mad at us for contacting town council, I'm not a land expert, 61A. I don't think Gary is, Janice. So that's all we're trying to do is follow the process.
I don't think any of us are upset about the process that you're following.
Okay.
I think we're all on the same page that certainly town council should be involved.
Okay.
To straighten it out. I mean.
Okay, then, I mean, that's pretty much where the discussion, I think, should end tonight. I mean, this wasn't a public hearing. I mean, you're going to be able to air your, opinions when we get that far. So I don't want to get into I had this conversation, they need to wait 10 years. That's
Tit for tat?
yeah, and I get it, but I don't want to go there tonight.
I just want to say I'm glad to see that the Moores are here tonight, and I want to,
We are too.
To indicate that I hope that we could work together to identify what the town's interests are in the parcels, because there are some really unique features, especially in conjunction with the proximity to the rail trail, and for a spur of the rail trail to be able to go across the parcels and connect to Washington Street so that you could have access from the rail trail to the school complex. And this is something that wouldn't even necessarily involve transfer of land ownership. It could be an easement that would be negotiated as you're going through your development process. And I really just want to offer, sort of an olive branch and say that, if there's an opportunity for us to negotiate even outside of the Chapter 61 process, it's often advised that towns try to negotiate with landowners in advance of the notice of right of first refusal. But also within the Chapter 61 process, that both of our interests can be met in part to find an amicable solution. Because the town doesn't have to buy nearly all of the parcels, it just, just to identify which parcels the town has interest in and see how you guys could meet your development requirements, and the town could also have interest in the outcome of the negotiations.
Mr. Chairman, we don't have any problem with that. Because one thing is that the land is not adjacent to the rail trail. It's a strip that is owned by the
I understand that.
So you got that issue. And also the other issue, just so you understand, is that we've worked with the DPW on giving multiple right-of-ways for the water from Nashua to Pleasant to go, and maybe Jackson to get hooked over and to make a loop over to the Jonathan Drive. So we are giving up a lot on that issue on the right-of-ways. But we understand what you're saying. I've been in town forever and ever. I'm going to be here, so I'm not here, or CJ isn't here to wake the town.
One more question.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, with everything that we're saying now, we may be able to get somebody who has legal expertise with 61A for free through the Massachusetts, what is it called?
The Association of Conservation Commissions, MACC. So the Conservation Commission is a member of MACC and as such has access to the services of MACC, including legal counsel. So this is something that I shared with Robert as a suggestion, that if the Conservation Commission, and George is here, George was here, sorry, if the Conservation Commission requests assistance, that MACC's legal counsel may be able to provide some services.
And I also have a former employer who was an expert, a land use expert, and she's an attorney, and she could also help with 61A, but she would charge.
Yeah, I think we have, town council is a very, very large entity that we deal with. There's people that deal with every aspect of.
They deal with 190 towns.
Yeah, so I'm firmly comfortable with our town council at this point. That's who we deal with, that's who represents us, and that's who we ultimately hold accountable. And I think following this route and is the way we need to do it. And however CJ and Calvin decide to proceed, that's up to them, but this isn't anything towards you. I hope you gentlemen realize that. We're just trying to do this the right way, and however it works out, and same for you residents. It's not, we just really
Want it done right.
Want it done right, because it's not something that comes up all the time, and obviously this is a hot button issue. So I don't want to speak with you, Janice, but I think you agree. Yeah. So the vote was taken, so
yeah, town council.
And we can expedite this too. Can we try to
light a fire under it?
Okay.
So I didn't mean to cut you all off, but we will, I mean, once this process gets hopefully to that point, we will have a public hearing and we can go all night on the merits for and to and from and why not.
Calvin, wasn't intent to circumvent you and not call you or anything, it's just,
Trying to save the town.
I know. We are too, that's why we're,
Yeah, long run.
All right, so we've made the vote, right? We're good? All right. Gentlemen, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
Have a good one.
thank you.
We have copies of documents if you guys would like.
Okay, that's the one you sent me to, because I
Yeah.
sent this, okay,
If
but I'll
anybody
take,
wants hard copies of
Yeah.
this, is the short list of the 120 days.
okay,
That one thing that's not on here is that the appraisal would have to take place in the 30 days following the proper notification.
yep, okay.
Okay, so it's not, since
Not
it's not
in
a typical process, but it's only 30 days to get your appraisal.
All right, thank you.
You done with your report?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry,
No?
I thought that might go that way, so I just thought we'd get the other things out of the way. Selectmen's questions, new business. Anybody got anything? My only thing was the street signs, and Mark answered that, but
Right.
the poles that are driving you and I crazy.
Just on that,
Mhm.
is there a real hot spot? I mean, I know they,
Have you driven around? Does the Focus have side windows?
I'll tell you what, go to the Freedom Way thing and look at the sign right
Okay.
there in front of it.
I'm not. I'm
No,
just-
no, no, no. Honestly, if you turn on by across from the town beach on the Sandy
Okay.
Snake Hill Road,
Yeah,
there's 4 right there.
okay.
Take what is it? School Street.
East
that goes-
Main Street.
I
Is it
was
School
just
Street that
looking
goes down
for
next to the
some
courthouse?
specific, if there was some hot spots. to
School
stop.
Street. Go down there. There's
Right.
about 70 no parking signs on that
Okay.
little street that are all got 8-foot poles and 3-foot signs.
Drive around at night. What are you doing, going home?
My guess is they don't use a ladder and they just reach up and
Yeah. So if we have to buy him a sawzall with some metal sawzall blades, I'd be happy to.
or get a ladder and just go up.
So I just aesthetically, it looks a lot better when they're. But feel free to. You'll see what I'm talking about if you take a look.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No.
And I think Mark agrees. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
we've had
no,
this
I
discussion
was,
before, and I think
the
yeah.
point is, that I didn't know if they're gonna look at the whole thing, but if there was a.
Well, they
real
drive.
hot
I mean,
spot-
I guess the point is, I don't drive around every street in town.
Right.
I go to through to
No, I appreciate you
the
saying where
schools,
you've
and I go to
seen them.
Peroni
Yeah.
Park, and that's basically where I see.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's a lot more,
Mhm.
and maybe they can start taking an inventory of what needs to be done. Approval of the April 21st, 2015 minutes.
I make a motion that the meeting minutes from the joint board of Selectmen and Air Finance Committee of April 21st, 2015 be approved.
Second.
I thought you were sleeping.
No, no. I
All
was.
all in favor?
I like to say no just for the heck of it, but no, I'll say
So what, just a quick question. What if FinCom rejects the minutes? Do our minutes have to change if they ultimately change something?
No,
Okay.
everything says board of Selectmen.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
All right, just curious. I didn't know if they
Their
approved the
minutes
minutes.
may be reflective differently than ours.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. So I get curious when I get tired sometimes. All right. It's a lot later than I thought we'd be here tonight too.
Those are the originals.
Oh, thanks.
What's that?
Those are the originals for the clerk to sign.
Oh, I still have some from a few years ago to sign. Let me know. Reorganization of the board. I can sit in the audience. I don't mind.
You can't sit in the audience.
You don't mind?
Or at home. Does anybody have any input on this? Janice, you are next in line for the coveted head of the table. And,
If you guys want me.
well, we didn't say
Well,
that,
I
but
don't
we're
really care
following.
about Gary's vote.
Any input?
All I know is I got 3 more years and you guys don't.
No, I got one, baby. That's it.
First of
You
all, I
got me
want,
for 2.
yeah.
You get me for one.
Thank you.
No, and I
Yeah,
appreciate
you've done
that, and I want to say
wonderful
that,
job.
honestly, I enjoyed doing this. As you can tell, I'm kind of casual, and I like just to kind of let you guys go, and I hope we can keep.
Steered us through
But
the rocky
it was nice
waters
to
of-
have a very harmonious,
First year.
probably ever in the town of Ayer that we all got along for the most part.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I seriously watched you grow.
I didn't get angry.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the Ayer, that's a whole, no, seriously, I watched you grow
Not his
in
hair.
this role. And I think you've done a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's easy. I mean, honestly, it's easy when you have people that aren't
Just running the
stabbing
meeting.
you in the back. And for the public, we're an open board. I mean,
Yep.
one of us talks about something, we let everybody know, and vice versa. So I'm sure that will continue. So I would like to, are you going to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to have Janice as chair for the next year.
Sounds good to me. Second? All in favor?
Aye, if she accepts it.
If she accepts it.
I accept it.
Chair says aye. Congratulations, you're the new chairman. And I guess that would make you make a motion that,
Again?
We like you second.
I've been vice chair a number of times.
I know, but you're very good at
yeah,
it.
and be careful, it never turns out well for the chairman.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
I knew I was being set up.
So we may want to keep him clerk.
He's got a point.
That way. We don't call him FDR for another.
So if I make it, it'll be, I will get a trophy or something, right?
Probably, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's going to be challenging. It's gonna be
I make a motion that Gary be vice chair for the coming year.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No. Yes, thank you.
And I'm back to the lonely clerk.
I make a motion that you go back to the relaxing position
Yes,
of
because
clerk.
you know how I am with minutes.
You want
I'll
this
be
seat?
slaving. Yes, and that was the other negotiating thing.
Second.
I have a weird thing about left and right, so if we could switch, do you mind?
Whatever.
So my right hand man's
No,
gonna be my
I
left
just,
hand?
it's a weird thing with me. I sat there once and it freaks me out. I need to be on the side of the, I don't know, I don't understand it, but
I do know you don't like to look this way.
yeah, I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, seriously. So over here would be much better.
Call the vote. The clerk.
For
Oh, yeah.
what? What am
Clerk.
I calling voter? For clerk. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Lucky you. Here you go.
I've been the clerk like 6 times, like at various points in my 2-year,
There you go.
so yeah, that was my only request, if you don't
I'll
mind.
make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Am I still, no, you're
You're the
that could-
chair.
Yeah, that
Oh,
could
that's
be-
right.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Did you second?
Second, sorry, it's gonna
All
take me
in
a while.
favor?
Aye.